Every year, thousands of people visit Costa Rica and wonder the same thing. What if I didn't have to leave? What if this wasn't a vacation? What if this could be home? From relocation and real estate to lifestyle, family, business, and community, this is the Breakthrough to Costa Rica podcast, presented by All in Guanacaste, your guide to life on Costa Rica's Pacific Gold Coast.
Welcome back to the Breakthrough to Costa Rica podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Jen.
Today, we're talking about the first 90 days after moving to Costa Rica. The part nobody really talks about. Most people spend months or years planning the move itself, but very little time preparing for what daily life actually feels like once they're here.
Everyone talks about making the move. Nobody talks about what happens after you arrive.
The first surprise is that Costa Rica feels less like a vacation and more like real life, much faster than most people expect. The beach is still beautiful. The sunsets are still incredible, but now you need groceries, internet, banking, transportation, and a routine. That's when the real transition begins.
Is that where culture shock starts?
Usually not because Costa Rica is difficult, but because everything is slightly different. The grocery store works differently. The banking system works differently. Utilities work differently. Driving works differently. Even buying furniture works differently. None of it is necessarily worse. It's just unfamiliar.
What do people struggle with most during those first few weeks?
Transportation is a big one. Many people underestimate how much driving they'll do. Costa Rica isn't huge, but travel times can surprise you. A 30-kilometer drive might take 45 minutes, depending on road conditions, traffic patterns, weather, and where you're going. And suddenly, choosing where you live becomes much more important than many people realize.
That's one reason people spend so much time researching towns.
Living in Tamarindo feels very different than living in Potrero. Potrero feels very different than Playas del Coco. Las Catalinas feels completely different again. One of the goals of All in Guanacaste is helping people understand those differences before they make a decision.
What about healthcare?
That's actually one area where many people are pleasantly surprised. Costa Rica has both public and private healthcare options. Private healthcare is generally much more affordable than many North Americans expect. Many doctors speak excellent English. Wait times for private care are often very reasonable, and people quickly discover they don't need to fly back home for every medical issue.
What about meeting people? That seems like a big concern.
It's one of the most important topics. Many people spend months researching real estate. Very few spend time researching community. The people who thrive here usually build a social network relatively quickly. That might mean joining a gym, volunteering, attending community events, playing pickleball, joining a sports league, or taking Spanish lessons. The people who isolate themselves often struggle.
Speaking of Spanish, how important is it really?
You can absolutely live in many parts of Guanacaste with limited Spanish, but life gets dramatically better when you learn even a little. You don't need perfect grammar and you don't need to be fluent, but understanding basic Spanish opens doors. It improves relationships, builds confidence, and shows respect for the country you've chosen to live in.
What about finances? People always ask if Costa Rica is cheap.
This is probably the biggest misconception. Costa Rica is not universally cheap. Some things cost less, some things cost more. Labor is often less expensive. Private healthcare can be less expensive, but imported goods can be surprisingly expensive. Vehicles can be expensive. Electricity can be expensive. The question isn't whether Costa Rica is cheaper. The question is whether the lifestyle value is worth the difference.
That's a completely different way of looking at it.
Most people aren't moving here to maximize savings. They're moving here to maximize quality of life.
So what advice would you give someone preparing for their first 90 days?
Slow down. Don't try to solve everything in the first month. Explore, meet people, visit different communities, build routines, be patient with yourself, and remember that feeling unsettled for a while is completely normal. You're not on vacation anymore. You're building a life. And those are very different things.
That's probably the perfect way to put it.
Thanks for listening to the Breakthrough to Costa Rica podcast. If you're researching communities, relocation, lifestyle, or real estate opportunities along Costa Rica's Pacific Gold Coast, visit allinguanacaste.com. Until next time,
Stay warm.
or come south.